Hey, and welcome to another one of these sessions. Today I'll be taking you through how I made one of my recent pieces of artwork using Affinity Designer.
Whoa, yeah. Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, click off the Wi-Fi.
One of my favorite things about Affinity Designer is being able to bounce between the designer and pixel personas. So I'll be showing you pretty much how I run between those two as I make this particular piece of artwork. This one kind of began in a weird way. I was on RCA's, the record label's website, and I saw this photograph that I have on screen right now. And I don't know who the artist is, I must be honest, but for some reason I thought it was a great photograph and decided to make a piece of artwork using this photograph as inspiration. And impeccable timing here from a good friend of mine. Hey bro. So I started sketching, and at this point I'm just trying to set up my illustration on the artboard, trying to figure out what angle is going to work and so forth. So this is a very rough sketch at this point. I'm just trying to get it right. I'm just trying to get like the pose correct and so forth. I'm using my graphite brush for this, and I'm just trying to figure out like what kind of hairstyle to go for. At this point I was feeding this because I wanted to kind of like extend out of the artwork in a sense, so it's kind of like grow out of the artwork. So I just kind of like I just started working with that and trying to figure out what else to add to it to make the piece of artwork interesting. My biggest thing is to always go for visual interest more than anything, and I begin my vector inking process. And here I'm utilizing just a pen tool, standard pen tool, nothing to it, and I'm modifying it based on how I want the pressure to kind of simulate. Okay, confession time. I've thought about this, and I think making vector line work might be my favorite part. I think it's between that and the finished monochromatic artwork. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. You'll see as we go along that at some point I wasn't really, I wouldn't say not happy. I would say that I wanted to experiment more with the hairstyle. So you'll see at a certain point I decide to change it and just make it a little bit more fitting, I think.
I feel a heart beating in rhythm in a 6/8 pattern.
So I don't like to delve into like color like very early on. My main thing is to get the composition right. My main thing is to get the contrast correct as well, and not really focus on what the colors might be and whatnot. I try to get the most honest kind of like a piece of work forward. I know it's sounding very artsy, but the truth of it is, you know, really I just want to make something that I like.
Independent woman, but still we are
So once I'm happy with the contrast, I then jump into color. And here you'll see me mixing up a bunch of colors. Like it was odd for this one. It started to get weird at some point because I was literally trying to go in and see which of these colors would work really well together. And I know it's simple. It's as simple as maybe using a palette that I find online or grabbing something that already exists. But I think part of the fun for me anyway is experimenting. You know, I love being experimental. I love being able to get stuff wrong. I love being able to tweak stuff such that it eventually becomes right, in my opinion anyway. One of the questions I get asked a lot is why I draw my lines utilizing vector as opposed to pixels. And I suppose a part of it is just habit, which I'll come back to just now. But also the other side of it is I love clean, scalable lines. You know, so that is really why I prefer utilizing a vector. But to go back to the habit bit, I started a lot of my illustrations like back in the day. I utilized Illustrator, and so I draw as much as possible in there before going into Photoshop and retouching and adding details such as grain, color correction and so forth, which is really why I prefer to work in Affinity Designer. Being able to get that artwork from start to finish is an absolute bliss. I might actually show you some of my early illustrations so you guys can have a good laugh. I might share those. Need to find them. You'll notice that I jump around quite a bit as I'm working on the artwork, and that's by no means an attempt to try and confuse you. What really happens is that I'll find that I work on, say, maybe the face, and I'll hit a creative block there, and then I'll start working on a piece of clothing which may inspire something that I can then go back to the face and work on a little bit, you know, whether it's the way the colors bounce, whether it's some sort of symbol or design that I want to add to the face. That's really generally my workflow with these. And to be honest, color is like a mountain that I need to climb every time, and it feels like intimidating every time. And like I said, I know it's as simple as just getting some sort of template together and getting it to work, but for some reason I enjoy the challenge of getting colors to work really well, having to solve that problem myself. It's part of the experience, I guess, part of the artwork making process. At this point, I start to experiment with how we can make the artwork pop a bit. I loved where I was with the nude kind of like colors, but I wasn't sure it was the right direction for the artwork. So at this point, I wanted to experiment a bit more and kind of figure out how to get the artwork to pop. You'll see that most of what I do is just tweaking and going back and forth, reviewing, looking at the work, critiquing the work, which I believe is one of the most important things to be able to do when you're working anywhere in art. It's taken me a long time to get to this place where I feel like really comfortable, like creating, making something that I can share with the world. And really the exercise here is just trying to make the artwork pop a little bit more, feel like it's a little bit more interesting to look at. You'll see that eventually I decided to change her hoodie. I really dig these. Are you guys using these? They're on the right hand side of the UI, under assets. They're such a great time saver, and I love using them to light up and add extra detail to my artwork. They're super easy to use too. You just drag them in. What tends to work for me is applying one of the additive blending modes. So anything like lighten, add, color dodge, screen will give you really great results. It'll knock out that black background that they sit on. There's a very neat trick that I tend to apply towards the end of my artworks, just to kind of get like a rich color, and that's by stacking a couple of gradient layers and then putting them on a soft light or an overlay blending mode, reducing the opacity a little bit. You'll see with this one I was looking for a very warm kind of filter, and I'm sure you can achieve this by utilizing the built-in photo filter within Affinity Designer, but I'm trying to go for a very unique kind of like look. And some of this is inspired by the Studio Ghibli stuff, because you'll see that, you know, a lot of those scenes are 2D, but the color will be so rich coming out of them. Like, it's incredible to see how they get that done. I experimented with the less busy background, just something that would put our focus back on the character. I like where I kind of landed up with this. At this point, I turn my attention to the eyes. I mess around a bit with some blending modes, some mask layers as well, erasing, bringing in some gradients as well in there. All the details that I love to, joke about and say it's something that no one is ever going to notice, but it's there. It's always quite nice for me to put together. Be on the lookout for more of these. I'm trying to put them out on a more regular basis. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on IG. One of the cool things about this artwork is that it's part of the launch of my brand new store, and it's something that I've been working on in the background for quite some time now, and I'm finally ready to share it with the world. So please follow the link below and check it out. There's a couple of artworks that are available. We ship anywhere in the world. The general sizes that are available are A4 to A0, which is like the largest. So head on over to the website and get yourself one or two or maybe three. To play us out is one of my first releases. It's called Photographs, and it's been out for about a year now, I think, and it is available on my Bandcamp, which I'll leave a link for down below, so do check it out. I'll see you guys next time.